Hey friends, Ash here with Gents with another fragrance review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the fragrance Tobacco Nuit from the house Atelier Cologne. There's also going to be a giveaway a little bit later on in this video for a Maxaroma gift card, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And in case you missed it in the last couple of videos that I've talked about this, there's going to be a Maxaroma giveaway each month going forward. I'll talk about that a little bit more once we get to the actual giveaway part of this video. In this review, like always, I'll break down the fragrance, let you know what I think about it, let you know whether it's something I think you should check out or not, and I'll also show you guys the presentation of the fragrance. That way, if you do pick this one up, you know how it's gonna look. Let's go ahead and jump into this review for Atelier Cologne Tobacco Nuit. Before we check out the presentation, I need to let you guys know, in case you weren't already aware, this fragrance was sent to me for review by Maxaroma.com. So a shout out to Maxaroma, thank you for sending this to me for review. Like always, you guys already know, it doesn't affect my opinion, it does not affect what I tell you. Just that typical spiel that I have to give you, you know how it is. In case you're unaware of who Maxaroma.com is, they're a great website where you can pick up authentic, niche, and designer fragrances at big discounts. And this one is a fragrance that you can get at a big discount, at least while they have these in stock. I guess I'll just go ahead and run through that pricing now, and then we'll jump into the presentation. This is one of the more expensive fragrances that Atelier Cologne has. For 100 milliliter size, which is this one right here in my hand, it's gonna run you $275 retail. That is not cheap. This one is also available in a larger 200 ml size bottle, which would look like this size-wise. This is Gold Leather, another Atelier fragrance that I own. So you can see the size difference there. If you pick this up as a 200 ml, it's gonna run you $375. They also have a smaller 30 milliliter kind of travel size bottle, which would be this size here. That's not cheap either. That runs you $150. So this one is not cheap any way you cut it. As of me filming this video, Maxaroma has this fragrance available for $111 for this size, 100 mils. But it's nearly sold out. Regardless, with this fragrance, a discounter is definitely the way to go. Now let's go ahead and check out that presentation. Here you have the front of the box, you've got the house, the fragrance, size, and concentration. You'll notice that Atelier Cologne advertises this as a Cologne Absolute concentration. It's basically an eau de parfum. Here you've got the top of the box, a little information and a story on the side of the box, which I guess I'll go ahead and read to you since it's supposed to be a description of the fragrance, or I guess what they're trying to get across with the fragrance. This night the jazz club was full. The notes effortlessly emerged from his saxophone. A beautiful dark-haired woman approached. Her appreciation for the melody was no secret. Confidently, she softly spoke to him. A moment he could only dream of. So, yeah. On the other side of the box, you have a few notes from the fragrance. On the back of the box, some information about Atelier Cologne themselves, who they are, where they came from. And on the bottom of the box, the ingredient information and your badge code. Now we'll take a look at the bottle. It is a good looking bottle, and this Atelier Cologne wrap that goes around the bottle is leather, or faux leather. So here's a good look at the front of the bottle. You can see here Atelier Cologne Tobacco Nuit. And here you have the back of the bottle. On the bottom of the bottle, you'll see it says Atelier Cologne, then you have your badge code there. The cap on this fragrance slides snugly into place and the atomizer on it is good as well. This one opens up with a bunch of cumin and a little bit of coriander as well. Gives it a spicy opening, but it can be a little bit challenging because there is just really an overload of cumin initially. And when I say that, I mean just initially, like right as soon as you spray it on. It tones down pretty quickly, but that first blast and that first 5 minutes or so could be off-putting to some people. There's a clementine note in the top, but it really doesn't last at all, and if you didn't know it was there, you'd probably miss it. Which is unfortunate because I really would like there to be a little bit more citrus in the opening, but that clementine is there and gone so fast. It really is almost the definition of a minor note in a fragrance, something that's just there and gone. I also pick up what smells like saffron in the opening of the fragrance, though it's not a listed note. It's just kind of there playing along in that initial spice blend with the cumin and the coriander. At least that's how it comes across to me. As it starts to dry down into the mid, a lot of those rougher edges in the opening start to soften up and start to round off. It becomes easier to wear and becomes much less challenging. Or really, to me, not challenging at all. Now, when I say that it softens up in the mid, don't take that to mean that the performance gets weaker, because it doesn't. It's just, again, maybe some of those harsher edges from the cumin in the initial opening are softened up. The performance, though, is still there. It's still good. Tobacco Nuit at this point starts to pick up kind of a dusty, ambery vibe to it, and that's going to be from labdanum and olibanum, or frankincense. Those notes combine to give this a warm, spicy, smoky feeling in the mid. The tobacco blossom, which is what the official tobacco note in this fragrance is, also gives the fragrance a little bit of a leathery tinge in the mid. So there's a lot of different things going on. That tobacco blossom also comes across slightly fruity to me. It's not the fruit from the opening, the clementine, which is the only official fruity note in the fragrance. It just has this slight fruity sweetness to it. And the sweetness through the mid really is pleasant. It's not overwhelming, it's not super strong, but it has a few different facets to it. You have that ambery kind of feeling, which gives you some more of the darker, richer, resinous sort of sweetness. And then you have tonka as well. And the tonka in Tobacco Nuit actually comes across more like vanilla than it does tonka. Interestingly, as Tobacco Nuit makes its way through the mid, you'll occasionally get these pops of cumin. Like it'll just pop up all of a sudden, you'll get this quick burst of pungent spice. Very slightly animalic at times, but it never comes off like body odor or sweat, ever. Even in the opening when cumin is really, really strong, it doesn't come across like body odor. So that's a huge positive. But like I said, through the mid, you'll occasionally catch this pop of spice that kind of comes up through those resins, the tobacco blossom, and that tonka. And even though this is technically a tobacco fragrance, that's how it's marketed, that's how it's named, it actually has a much bigger emphasis on sweet amber, dusty spices, and frankincense than you might expect. Because that olibanum or frankincense that you pick up in the mid, that lasts all the way through the dry down off my skin. So that's gonna give you that smoky background that all the other notes are sitting on top of. The tonka gives a dry, vanilla-like kind of sweetness, like I spoke about in the mid, still that way through the dry down. And also in the dry down, you get some woody notes and just this little touch of earthiness. All the notes work really well off my skin. It smells high quality. The blend here is good. Nothing smells out of place to me. The only time that it smells like maybe it could have been tightened up a little bit is in that very initial opening with the cumin, where it comes across really strongly. And once you make it into that far dry down after it's been on your skin a number of hours, the fragrance is really more incense forward for me than it is tobacco forward. By that I mean to say it's the frankincense that really hits your nose first. You still have some amber there in the far dry down, kind of a woody tobacco as well, and a touch of that tonka sweetness. But in the far dry down, this is not at all a tobacco dominant fragrance off my skin. It's more so just working in with all those other notes. They're all just kind of melding together. In my first impression, I mentioned a passing similarity with Tobacco Nuit to By Kilian's fragrance, Single Malt. Single Malt is a great release, fantastic fragrance. I've got to say though, that wearing them side by side, there's really not too much of a similarity. At least not close enough to really bring it up. When I smell this from the atomizer, it does give me a similar vibe to Single Malt. Again, not the same, but a similar vibe. Off a tester strip, this does have more of a similarity to Single Malt, but wearing it off skin side by side with Single Malt, it's really not all that close. Some people have also compared this fragrance to Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille, which is another fragrance that I own. And while Tobacco Nuit is maybe a little bit more similar to Tobacco Vanille than it is Single Malt, it's still not super close to Tobacco Vanille either. Definitely not close enough that you could say this is a replacement for this, or vice versa. The vanilla and the dried fruits in Tobacco Vanille come across just so much sweeter than anything that's in Tobacco Nuit. I know these sound similar, Tobacco Vanille, Tobacco Nuit. Tobacco Nuit is much more balsamic, with more of that emphasis on the resins and the incense. Not to mention the cumin note, which doesn't even exist in Tobacco Vanille and is very strong in Tobacco Nuit, especially off the top. Honestly, if we're just talking Tom Ford fragrances, Tom Ford tobacco fragrances, Tobacco Nuit reminds me a little bit more of Tobacco Oud than it does Tobacco Vanille. While Tobacco Nuit does not have a boozy note like Tobacco Oud does, at times the way that the resins are used can give off a similar boozy feel, which is probably why I mentioned single malt originally when I did my first impression on this one. The way those resins come across at times can give you that boozy kind of feeling. Obviously, that's what single malt is known for. And the way tobacco is used along with other notes in tobacco oud can sometimes come across a little bit animalic, a tinge of that animalic feel, which you'll also sometimes pick up in tobacco Nuit. Again, I don't think this is a replacement for this. I don't think that this is super similar to tobacco oud. But just as far as those Tom Ford tobacco fragrances, I think this has a little more in common with tobacco oud than it does tobacco vanille. All that being said, I absolutely love both of these, tobacco oud and tobacco vanille. Now let's touch on the performance of this one, tobacco Nuit. It's actually very good. The projection the first couple of hours is very solid, projects strongly, and then it starts to settle down a little bit closer to the skin, but doesn't become a true skin scent. Even after those first 2 hours, you still get decent projection from tobacco Nuit for a long time. Longevity off my skin is above average as well, 8+ hours without issue, leaning more toward 10+ hours. It's definitely a cool weather kind of fragrance, so fall and winter only, at least for me. It's not something I'd wear in spring or summer. Warm weather, high heat, no go. Basically for me, cool weather, cold weather, that's it. It does lean more toward nighttime wear, which is not really a big surprise. You have that concentration on olibanum or frankincense, labdanum, tobacco, woods, and so on. Though I will say for me personally, I would wear it during the day and have no issues. This is the type of fragrance that you could dress up formally if you wanted to, as long as you're comfortable wearing this kind of fragrance, and one that you could wear casually as well. Overall, it's a fragrance that I really enjoy. I liked it the first time that I sprayed it on. I like it now. Of the Atelier Cologne fragrances that I own, this one is going to be my favorite for fall and winter as of now. And I can see this getting a lot of wear, especially as we head into the winter. So for me, this one is an easy thumbs up. I really enjoy it. Now let's talk about the giveaway, the Maxaroma gift card giveaway. As of right now, my bundle for October is showing sold out. So that means next month's gift card giveaway should be a really good one. I'll leave a link in the description to that bundle in case you're interested, in case Maxaroma gets some more in stock or is able to make more of them. But that bundle right now is $50 and it includes Parfums de Marly Herod, this one Atelier Cologne Tobacco Nuit, and Mancera Red Tobacco. A tobacco theme, obviously. So if you were to buy that bundle, it would cost you $50 and 10% of every sale goes toward a gift card that I'll give back to you guys next month. And that's how it's gonna go every month from now on. Now, last month's gift card is not a huge one. It's $36. To enter into that giveaway, just leave a comment below saying that you want to enter into the giveaway. And I guess in the comment, just let me know what you want to spend that gift card toward. 1 week from today, I'll pick a winner using random comment picker. I'll put that winning comment on my YouTube page on the community tab like I do with all the giveaways. Whoever wins, reach out to me with your information, which I'll provide in that announcement of the winner, and I will get you your gift card. And we'll do this again next month, which, like I said, should be a much bigger gift card, and we'll do it every month going forward. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me and my take on Atelier Cologne Tobacco Nuit. Really solid fragrance as long as you don't mind cumin, especially in the opening. Again, doesn't come across like sweat, so that's a thumbs up at least. Then it heads into this really nice resinous, sweet, smoky kind of tobacco. It's gonna do it for me. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support. Good luck with the giveaway, and I'll see you guys again next time with another fragrance video. See you guys.